What do you call a polar bear in the desert? Lost. Alright, sorry about that. But why is it that most living organisms only live in one type of environment? It's all to do with adaptation. What is an adaptation? An adaptation is a feature or a characteristic that increases an organism's chances of survival in its environment. Organisms have to compete for several things: food, water, territory or space, and even mates. And by mates, I don't mean being the most popular organism, I mean having someone to breed with and reproduce. And also, if an organism is well adapted, it will survive, reproduce, and pass on its advantageous genes to its offspring. Some environments are extremely hot, like this desert for example. I'm not very well adapted because I'll get dehydrated very quickly. Cheers. Other animals are much better adapted to this environment. Take this camel for example. Reducing water loss and staying cool are extremely important for animals that live in hot conditions. They reduce water loss by producing concentrated urine and not sweating much. Thin fur and thin layers of body fat allow them to lose heat easily. Long legs keep the body away from the hot surface of the sand. A large fat store in the hump provides metabolic water, and wide feet spread their weight over the sand and prevent them from sinking. Camouflage is also important for animals that live in these conditions. As a result, many of these animals are pale or sand-coloured. For some animals, living underground in burrows and staying in the shade also allows them to keep cool. Many desert animals have large ears, which gives them a big surface area to volume ratio. This means that heat is radiated away from the body quickly. Reducing water loss is essential for plants that live in areas with little water. So how do they do it? They have a small surface area compared to their volume, especially in the leaves. They contain water storage tissues. They have really deep or shallow but extensive roots to maximize water absorption. Instead of leaves, they have spines to reduce water loss. The spines have another function too. They prevent some animals from eating them. This is a useful feature seen in many plants. This is a bit extreme. I'm not very well adapted to this environment either. Arctic explorers wear lots of clothes to prevent them from losing too much heat energy. Unlike humans, some animals are naturally suited to this environment, like the polar bear for example. Polar bears have a layer of blubber to insulate the body and act as an energy store. They have a small surface area compared to their volume to reduce heat loss. They also have oily fur that not only helps insulate the body, it also gets rid of water to prevent cooling by evaporation. In addition to this, they are very well camouflaged, which helps them to sneak up on their prey. I think it's time to go. Some environments are even more extreme. For example, this pool has a pH of around 2, which is extremely acidic, and it has a temperature of around 85 degrees Celsius. Nothing could live here. Really? Well, in fact, life can live in these conditions. It's home to microorganisms, mainly bacteria, called extremophiles. They can live in extreme environments that most normal organisms wouldn't be able to survive in. They can be found living in extremely salty lakes, at high pressures on the sea floor, and even inside volcanic vents. Because of this, many scientists believe that there could be life on other planets where it's very hot, dry, or even very cold. But what do you think? Does extraterrestrial life exist? Many organisms adapt to their environment by changing their behaviour. Examples include migration, where organisms travel extremely long distances to find a more suitable, usually warmer climate. Hibernation, where organisms conserve energy during cold periods where food supplies are limited. Let's look at how this organism is adapted to its environment based on what we can see. It has gills for gas exchange underwater, a streamlined shape to reduce drag when swimming. It also has fins for swimming, and it has sharp teeth for tearing flesh.